Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. We've now finally got issue 32 of the Hero Collector release of Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. Okay, so because we played with the timeline, let's get this right. I've already done issue 33, but I hadn't got 32. Now I've got 32, I'm doing this now. If you're watching this in the future and you're watching it on the playlist, you don't know what I'm talking about, and this is in a perfect order, and there has been no problems whatsoever getting hold of this. Does that make sense? We are going to be doing quite a lot in this one. Actually, there's not a lot of parts, we're just doing a lot of headlining, but we are going to be finally putting the two parts of the vehicle together, connecting up all the electrics. So it's going to be quite involved, and I can see this taking quite a long time as well. Now, if you want to get hold of this yourself and you're quite impressed with what you see, I'll put the link in the video description. You can get this all the way from pack 1 and you can join me along in building this. And believe me, I've had to zoom out all the cameras on this because this thing is so big. Now, there is a word of warning on today's video, and that is that I am going to be using a part work upgrades map. I'm additionally going to be using some cushions to put underneath the main body of the vehicle. The reason being is we've now attached the two lights on top of the vehicle, and I'm guessing if we turn this upside down, which we're meant to do, I don't want those two lights actually pressing down on the hard surface and breaking. So I'm taking a lot of precautions to make sure that doesn't happen. So you're going to probably want to do that yourself if you are building along with me. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So stage 119 is the calm before the storm. We're going to be putting another bit of headlining in there. And it looks like we've got a bit of a bulkhead here that's going in as well. But we don't actually attach that. We do put a little speaker on there. So as you can see on the side camera, I've laid this out. So this is upside down on part work upgrade mat with this bubbly stuff here. So it ensures that these lights are never going to touch the base there. And we're going to be putting the first bit of headlining in. And quite simply, this is what the rear panel looks like. And that's just going to go into the vacant section we've got there. So now we've got headlining over the whole lot there. And that's going to be held in with some EM screws. Now it only takes 4 of these. So I'll put these in the 4 corners here. One this side. One down the opposite side here. And then just 2 more in the opposite corners here. Excellent. So when that's done, should look just like that. And I can put this now on the floor. Now it is worth noticing in this pack we do have some of this black tape that we're going to probably use to keep the wires clean, but we don't actually use that in this stage. I'm going to keep that safe. But we have got the partition wall, which looks like this. And all we're going to be doing is installing speakers just into the top sections there. You can probably see on the close-up we have got a keyhole pattern on this. So I'm just going to match the keyhole pattern up. So we're going to have one going in that side and one going in the other side. They are labelled L and R. So I've just got to put that one in the wrong one because that one's an L. And then the right side one will be going in here just like that. They're going to be held in with these QP screws here. These are flange screws. So I've got them labelled up. I'll do the right hand side one first, just in here. Excellent. So that's one in. And there you go. That's the one on the other side there in. And that is all there is to do in stage 119. So as you can see here in stage 120, we're going to be finishing the partition wall. We're going to be adding all of these parts together. We are finally going to be installing this into the main body of the vehicle, which means we need to bring that up again. So by the end of it, it looks just like that. So the first 2 parts we have look just like this and this one here. And quite simply, turning it this way round, this is just going to go on top like this. Now it's going to be held in, once I've got it in, oh, other way. It's going to be held in with EP screws, quite a few of them, in these 8 holes here. So when that's done, that should look just like that with all the screws in. So we now need to bring up this part of the partition that we got in this pack, and the part that we just made. This is just going to go into the 8 holes that we see there. It should just drop in there really. If we line up the bottom, I just felt that go in there. Turn it over, and that's going to be held in on this side once again with 8 EP screws. And as if by magic, that's all 8 of those screws in there. What I'm going to do now is take the window that comes in this pack. That looks just like that. We're going to slot that into the indent there. So it fits in nice and flat. And then we're going to be putting the other side, which we got in stage 119, just over the top of this. This way round, so the speaker's facing out. And that's going to sandwich everything together there. And that is going to be held in with KP screws. I'm coming to the end of screwing these in. That was 10 screws in total. Going in here, in every hole that I can see. This is the last one. And there we go. That's that partition wall completed with the window in there. So I'm now going to bring up the vehicle again. Okay, the partition wall is going to be going down this side here. Now, it has got some little tabs just on each side here. What I need to do is just loosen this skirting that we had around the other side. So I just need to remove 2 of these screws here. Now, these were VP screws, so I don't want to lose these. And this one here. That's a slightly longer one, these ones are. Remember, the one near the front is a shorter one. I'm just going to take this off just for a second. Now what we want to do is we've got this light that comes from the ceiling light. We need to tuck this neatly into where the partition's going to hide this. So I'm doing that here now. That's going to go down here. And I think I should be able to hide the rest of this lead through this outside section here. So I'm going to leave it just like that. I think that's going to be perfect. So we're now trying to install this wall. When I'm putting this down, I'm actually tracing the wire into this section so that it's going to be nice and flush when this goes in. And there we go. That's in place. So I'm going to secure that in with RM screws just each side here. And now that's in, we can just close this door. And I'm just now going to feed this wire and replace the skirting along the facade. Now another thing they want me to do is put an RM screw into the wheel arch on the left side here. But I had already done that. So I don't know when I did that, but I've already done that to keep that in. They don't want us to attach this yet, but I've actually attached mine. So we'll have to see how that bears out in the next stage, because that's all there is to do in this stage. So stage 121, I can see this being the hardest stage of the build. We're actually going to be piecing together the 2 parts of the vehicle. We're also testing all the electrics here, and it starts by removing the electrics from the rear section of the car here. We're also going to remove these 2 front sections of the Ecto-1, which I've already done, because unfortunately I learned at an early age when I started putting the frame in that you can't take the frame off and on with these on. So I actually broke mine, but I will fix them, but they need to come out here as well. We're going to be feeding the wires through these pipes that come from the roof. That's how we're going to be hiding the roof. And then we're going to be hiding some wires here just below the bonnet section, so that when we piece this together there's going to be no pinched wires. We do have to remove the left wheel, and the reason for that is so we can get to all the electrics in here. Once we've plugged all the electrics in and checked that they all work, we're going to be putting the left wheel back on, and then the wheel arch that we slide in is going to hide all the wires. Then once we piece that together, put the wheel hubcap on, and they do provide another hubcap for when we take that off. We put those little tiny parts at the front of the car back on, put the wing mirrors on, and then pretty much the Ecto-1 is complete apart from anything that's going on the roof. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I haven't got a clue how I'm going to film this. So what I've done to make things easy is I've removed every single extendable wire from the rear of the vehicle. Now, these are all labelled N, L, J, K. I think that's all the ones we need, but we'll come back to that one in a second. This is what we get in that pack, and it's these blue tubes that I'm interested in. So let's get these out. Now remember I said they want us to remove a couple of parts from the front of the vehicle? Well, they're the parts that look like this. You need to take these off the front. Now, as you can see, my one's broke. They're going to be easy to glue. As you can see, they are in with like a little tab there on one side. If I just bend that up, and then you had a screw in the other side. So I will glue these back on afterwards when this is done, but I learnt the hard way, so don't make mistakes. I make mistakes so you don't have to, but you need to make sure these are removed, otherwise you're not going to be able to piece the car together if these are on. Okay, so we're going to start with one of these tubes, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be threading some wires through these. So the first leads we're going to need are the ones that are labelled J. I've got that one here. K, that looks like that, which is, I'll try, my colour blindness is terrible, but I'll try. I think that's grey and white, and that's grey and orange. And L, which is grey and black. These are going to go through the first piece of tubing here. And we want to make sure that the plug end of these are going through the end, which has got the largest sort of like opening there. So not the short end, the large end. So I'll put these down. Is it easier to do them all as once or one at a time? I reckon one at a time. So one in there, just till it comes out the bottom. It's an ingenious way to hide the wires, I have to say. Here's the second one. If it gets stuck, just keep rolling it round like that. Eventually, you'll see it will come through the other side. So that's the first one in. So just to show you again, we've got J, K and L in there. And then these came up J, K and L. And we do have the extensions for J and L here, looking like that. So that's that one done. We can put that to one side. And then we've got M and N, which we're going to put in here now. So that one's M. And then onto the end of N here, we're going to plug the extension, which has got all the circuit boards on it here. It is a little bit confusing because they are different colours. So the N, let me just get this in and I'll explain that. So the N that's going through here is a orange and white lead, but the N that comes off it is grey and black. So that looks just like that. So now I've got these done, I can put them to one side. I'm going to have to bring up the main body of the vehicle again. What I do need to do is plug these pipes in. So I need to make sure that the plug ends of these go through the holes and come out the other side, and then that will go in like that. And we just do the same on the other side here, through the holes and in like that. Perfect. So they're gonna eventually go along the side of the car like that there. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit absolutely crazy, because I've got to turn this upside down. So now I know where these are. Just for now, make sure they're in where I want them. There you go. I'm just going to put this taped up with masking tape just along the side of the vehicle there. In addition, I don't want to break any of these LEDs. So I'm going to pin them all down with masking tape on top. This is a low tack masking tape, so I'm not worried about this marking the paintwork or anything. Excellent. Let's turn this upside down. So from the inside, we need this inside door switch here, and we're going to be trailing this along the edge here. And to keep that into place, we're going to be using these black stickers that they've gave us. In the instructions, they've tended to put it on the white metal rather than the plastic, because I'm guessing the plastic's going to be metal, going to be resting on the other side. So I am just following their lead with that to make sure this goes through where it needs to be. So basically all the wires you want to be round this section just here. It's hard for you to see, but all the wires are already compacted into that section. Now everything else I need to do before I put together is going to be impossible to film on the workstation. So I'm going to set up a mobile camera and do this on the floor. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking the left wheel off the car. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this wheel here. Now it's really hard to get this hub off. I'm going to try and use some tweezers, but if you do damage the hub, they do provide one in this pack. And as you can see, I got it out, but I broke it. So don't matter, I've got another one. Let's take this wheel off. And as you can see, I've got both sections now next to the car. I've already taken off this section, which is the wheel arch, which I'll attach afterwards. All I've got to do now is attach everything from here over to this side, and that's including the front section and the rear section. To do that, we want to take both sides of the vehicle and put them on their right hand sides. So one here and the other side here. I've got a big box here that's going to hold up everything. So that looks good. Let me just muck around with the camera so you can see how I've got that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to work on the leads at the back first. So quite simply, it's just a case of matching up all the coloured wires. So I'm pretty happy with how that is. I'm going to just tidy this up a little bit. I'm going to put a cable tie around here, and that will just alleviate any stress on those plugs. So that's all the plugs in the back in place. Going to do the same on the front. You then want to turn it upside down and offer the bottom section to the top section, so it looks just like that. And this is going to be secured in with screws into these points here, 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 and here. Be careful at this point though, because there's loads of wires under it. So I'll get this all attached and we'll test the electrics. So when that's done, apart from all the protection I put on this, that is the Ecto-1 attached to the body. Now hopefully we never have to turn that upside down again. But we're not finished there. We're going to be putting the wing mirrors on. So it's pretty much impossible to show you, but I'll show you the pictures on the screen, and the wing mirrors are going to be actually connected with an RP screw that looks like that, and they just go over the top of this section here. You see what I mean about this stage being impossible to film, but there we go. That's the driver's side mirror on, and then on the passenger side, that's the passenger side one on as well. Now one of the other things we've got to do here is install the spotlight here, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is, so I will source another one of those to put in there. Not a problem. The only other thing we've got to do is just put some brackets in so we can keep this trunk of wires up to the roof. Now, the brackets are here. I'll get them installed and show you what they look like. So there you go. When they're in, they look like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That was crazy. That's taken like 3 hours. But I'm glad everything works. Obviously, I've got the power mod in mind, so it's good inside, doesn't it, with the with the partition there. Yeah, I've got the power mod, so I have checked the electrics already to make sure they all work. Now, continuing the theme of things to do, which I can't really film, we've got some kick plates to put in just by the doors here on each side. So what I'm going to do is just open these doors up, and the kick plates are just going to go onto the inside here. Get this one open, and in the inside here as well. So I'll get these in and show you what that looks like. And when they're in, they should look like that, and like that. And the same on the other side. And that is all there is to do in that stage. What a pack. That's all there is to do in that pack. That took ages. It's back up on the shelf there now. Wow. I knew that was going to be tough. It was going to be a tough one. When I knew we had to put the vehicles together, I just get visions of the DeLorean issue 91. And obviously in this one, issue 121. That's going to be the, was it 121 or 122? It was 121. So that's going to be the one that I think is going to challenge a lot of you. I did end up breaking 2 lamps, even with my pillows down and stuff like that, so I had to glue them, but there you go. They look good now. They're in place, so we're all happy. But other than that, I did check the electrics as well, and everything's working, so that's a good sign. I think the hardest thing about that was trying to align it so the screws can actually go in the bottom, and it's 2 different kinds of screws that go in the bottom as well, longer ones at the back. But we did it, and it's on the shelf. And I'm happy, and I'm going to take a rest now. So I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.